So I'd like to get started with Liberal Viewer Wednesday Live. This is the show I do the first Wednesday of the month, each month to answer my viewer questions. Those questions that are asked from before the, let's see here, I see people leaving comments already, so I'm hoping everybody can see and hear me finally, yes. I got a couple dozen people watching here. See view on watch page. So I think you may have a slightly delayed. There's actually sort of a delay in the broadcast here. Oh, there's an advertisement? I don't remember putting any advertisements on this. Now I'm bummed out. So yes, okay, everything is working now. So I did get, I think, about 5 questions asked before I started the show, and I want to answer those first, and then I will look over in the discussion section and see if we can get a little live discussion going. The first comment that I wanted to show you came from... Can you hear me now? Okay, this software leaves something to be desired. So this is a question I got on my Liberal Viewer Sunday live clip roundup, where I only take on-topic comment or questions. So Skunk Caps asked me, Liberal Viewer, do you still practice law anywhere? Just curious. So let me see if I can switch back. Oh, still kept my sound. So, I don't generally practice law. I took a case a couple years ago that a lawyer friend of mine referred to me that he was in a dispute that went to arbitration. I learned about arbitration and got a arbitration verdict. I used to practice law. I was a public defender for about 5 years, which I quit doing when my daughter was born, which is now about 12 years ago. I sort of pretend to be a lawyer every now and then. Well, I mean, I actually am a lawyer, but I'll go appear and speak on behalf of the ACLU at some city council meeting or go to some meeting, and I dress up in a suit and I look like I'm a lawyer and actually am a lawyer, and I don't know if that helps out the ACLU. I mean, I don't actually sue anyone on behalf of the ACLU because I'm just a volunteer on the board of the ACLU of Northern California, so I don't have any legal duties in that way. I have been thinking about a copyright fair use lawsuit involving one of my YouTube videos, but I don't really want to talk any more about that till I get that all worked out. So the second question I wanted to that was asked at the beginning or before I started the show, here it is from Terry Alther asked, question for Wednesday, there seems to be a buzz about a recent Supreme Court ruling where the Supreme Court rules drug companies exempt from lawsuits. According to the Big Slice article, and you can see this whole thing on my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/liberalviewer, and he gives a link to this article. It basically is Big Slice Rice. I'm curious because if they are, it seems to follow a common phenomenon exemplified by Citizens United that news sources, especially online blogs, need civics lessons on the judicial branch, which leads me to ask why are rulings misinterpreted when they are presented to the public. And if you follow that link, the Big Slice article is about the Supreme Court decision that basically was about whether this drug company was liable for not putting a warning label, or it was actually generic drug company, generic drug maker was liable for this not putting a warning label about this possible side effect on its drug when the FDA actually had regulations about exactly what the label was supposed to say, and they couldn't change it if they wanted to. And So the Supreme Court said, and there was then, but there was a different requirement under state law, and the Supreme Court said that federal law preempted state law, and so yeah, this drug maker couldn't be liable for not putting a warning on the label, but it didn't say that they were totally exempt from liability. In fact, there were later cases saying that they could be sued for like false advertising and all these other claims. It was just, if the federal government doesn't let you change the label, you can't be liable for not changing the label, is basically the ruling. So it's not that earth-shattering an opinion, and it was kind of misrepresented in the press, and I think Citizens United gets misrepresented a lot, but I think that's just because press coverage tends to be superficial and simplistic, and it's kind of a I don't know. I tried to explain it there. I don't know exactly how coherent that was, but it's kind of a nuanced, difficult thing to explain, and for some people maybe to understand. I happen to be a lawyer, so I can read the case and figure out what it's about. So I think it's more about superficiality, sensationalism, and of course a lot of those, they were like left-wing blogs, and then that used it as a way to show that the Supreme Court was in the pocket of these big pharma, and then there was some Tea Party people who were showing was some problem with Obamacare. So it shows how it goes into people's preconceived notions. And actually, if you look at the second link that Terry Althor posted, there was about how people don't really see the context of where things are coming from, and they let things feed into their preconceived notions. And I think that is all very true. So I hope that answers that question. But it is, I think I explained what the Supreme Court really decided there. It wasn't that drug companies are exempt from litigation. It's just generic drug makers are exempt from litigation for not changing the warning labels on their drugs when the federal regulations require them not to change the labels on their drugs. So anyway, that's what that was about. The third comment I wanted to get to here. So the Justin McCoy asked me, what are you going to do with your website, LiberalViewer.com? And that's a good question, I guess. The LiberalViewer.com website, if anyone ever goes there and looks at it, it's actually kind of an amateurish website, I have to say. I basically put it up there to share a bunch of links telling the story of how I fought various copyright battles on YouTube. And if you go there, you'll see that there's still some links that go back to like 2006, 2007 when my account was suspended for copyright infringement. And I don't know, I thought of like updating it, and I actually bought a different web address. I bought the web address foxnewsbias.com, and there's really nothing or even more amateurish like redirection site there. But I've been thinking of trying to put up something there that shows off my Fox News Bias playlist, but I'm just not very good at designing websites, and I don't really have a lot of time to put into it. But I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll get around to doing something about that. So that was the third question. The fourth question that I got asked before I started the show. And every time I like switch shots here, the sound goes out. So sorry that there's that momentary. I don't know. Anyway, so Tall Skinny Geek asks in the comment section, do you expect Congress to approve action in Syria, or are Republicans going to just oppose anything Obama does, even if it's what they asked for? Well, I've been watching the beginning of this. If you watch my Liberal Viewer Sunday clip roundup, I did already kind of talk about how I think that Congress will ultimately approve this. Excuse me, I had to do a little... I didn't even do it on camera, but I had to do my little Marco Rubio there. I have iced coffee today from my Marco Rubio. But I think that the Congress will approve. I think it's pretty much... there's not much argument that the Senate's going to approve it. The Senate will definitely pass the authorization, and it's going to be close in the House, but I think ultimately they are going to pass the authorization for use of force in the House as well. I mean, I don't think it's, I'm not 100% sure, but if I were to bet, I'd say it's over 50% that the House will go over 50% on authorizing use of force. I'm still skeptical, and there are like various tangents the use of force thing is going off on. John McCain. It came out of the Senate committee, and John McCain wanted to make sure that the authorization for use of force included language that whatever military action was taken, would change the balance of power against Bashar al-Assad. And then there are other people, like on the House side, they're trying to make sure that there are no boots on the ground or no combat boots on the ground, and that's in. So there are some people trying to expand the resolution and some people trying to narrow it. And if anything's going to derail it, I think it might be the amendments and trying to agree on language between the House and the Senate. But if I were to predict, I would say I think that the Congress is going to authorize use of force. Okay, so the last comment I had asked here before, let me put this up. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. Like I said, every time I switch shots, I got to put the microphone back on. So NO8549, a familiar username, asks, did you read the Washington Post articles about black budget revealed by Snowden, more important than Syria debate? Sorry, I lost the sound again switching back, but yes, I did read that Washington Post article. I took a little screenshot about some of the stuff here switch the sound back on, and you can see there from let me get this up so that I can see it, that there's all this secret money, the Central Intelligence Agency, 14.7 billion, National Security Agencies, 10.8 billion, National Reconnaissance Office gets this 10.3 billion, and it all, there's all this increased spending in all these different spying agencies. So yeah, this is the black budget that we don't get to see, and it is a big story. And I mentioned in my LiberalViewer Sunday clip roundup that I had written a article back when I was I'd written a paper back when I was an undergraduate about the attempt to control atomic weapons at the end of World War II internationally, and that's one of the reasons I have some feeling on the Syria question that there is some international norm against the use of weapons of mass destruction that needs to be upheld. I'm just not sure that this bombing campaign by the United States is the way to uphold it. I'm very skeptical about that. But I also studied a lot about the development of the atomic bomb during World War II as part of that, and the Manhattan Project, and that was like a huge secret budget during World War II that very few people knew about. In fact, Senator Harry Truman, before he became vice president, got sort of told not to look into this when he was, as a member of Congress, was trying to find out about the Manhattan Project to build the atomic bomb during World War II. But that was like during a world war I don't know, this whole war on terror thing. It seems like they've taken national security to a level beyond even like World War II and the Cold War with a huge secret budget without a lot of justification. Yeah, I do find it troubling, and I suggest anyone interested should go check out that Washington Post article that NO8549 mentioned in her question there. Okay, so let's see if I can keep all this whole thing working here, and see if I can find some, whatever. this is so much harder to do on this computer, so I hope my computer is fixed before Sunday. Let me see what live questions. Oh, a whole bunch of comments about the sound here. DRRCK11 says, discussion. I wish the Syrian community would make up their minds on what they want Obama to do. There is that. Oh, and then there's people arguing already. Mr. McVRXia says there's no Syrian community, just as there's no American community. You can't be that general about things like this complicated issue. And, there's truth to that. And that's one of the problems with trying the American attempt to affect the outcome of the Syrian civil war is that the opposition in Syria is fragmented, and of course, anyone who's been paying attention knows there's all these like Al Qaeda elements in there, and I've seen videos of the atrocities committed by the rebels. I think there's some video out there on YouTube of some guy eating someone's heart or something, like eating the heart of his enemy, or I don't know. Let's see. There's a couple of comments here about Citizens United. Mr. Just Another Human says, Citizens United, not timid. Think about the acronym. Thanks. I don't know what that is. 00Sub-Zero says, do you have a video about Citizens United? Well, I actually have several videos on campaign finance and Citizens United. If you go to my channel page, there are a list. Let me see, are they still on there? Do I still have that one? I have a list of no, I don't have the Citizens United play, but one of my lists, I have a list of my playlists over on my LiberalViewer channel. And if you go to my list of playlists, one of the playlists will show all my Citizens United campaign finance related videos, and you can go check those. I think there are 4 or 5, and I'm supposedly going to be making a new one sometime soon. I've unfortunately had some problems with my computer. As I said, that's why I'm up here in the game room instead of with my regular bookshelf behind me. You can see the pool table. That's nice. So let's see. KZNO2 says, speaking of which, why isn't he playing poker on his smartphone? Oh, he's talking about John McCain was supposedly playing poker on his smartphone during some of the hearings on Syria. And who was it was it David Letterman? Someone made the joke, what? John McCain knows how to use a smartphone? Yeah, that's the most shocking part of that. So, Nate's Lovebug says, is it selfish that the reason I don't want to go into Syria is because my husband is in the Navy and I don't want any chance that he'll go? Well, I guess it is selfish, but I don't think it's... I think it's completely understandable. So, yeah, that's one of the problems with all of the military actions that the United States has taken since September 11th, and even before, is that very few people have the connection that Nate's Lovebug has, and has a loved one in harm's way. I think that people would be, the American people are already pretty circumspect, but I think they would be even more circumspect if we had a draft, or people, the responsibility for going to war was more shared. Let's see, I'm almost running out of commentary, but a couple more to go, and when I run out of comments, I will finish up the show here. I noticed the LiberalViewer First Wednesday did not get a lot of views last month, and certainly not as many views as my LiberalViewer Sunday clip roundups get, and they also take a lot more work. And in a way, these live shows where I just talk were the training ground so that I learned how to do that show. And I think that's kind of the better show, but I don't mind answering some questions from a smaller audience once a month until I'm finished up here. So yeah, I think that's Think LAA or Think La A. It says the Manhattan Project was made because of the secret military development projects occurring in Nazi Germany. We thought they were making nuclear weapons since they were creating V3 missiles. Well, I mean, that's true. We did think, that's sort of the famous letter that Albert Einstein wrote to FDR saying you have to look into this and you have to make sure that Germany isn't the first one to harness the power of the atom. And we got a bunch of the science, Niels Bohr, and over, where was he, in Denmark? I don't know. I did study a lot about the development of the atomic bomb, but I studied it back in the late 80s and early 90s, so not all of it's fresh in my mind. So let's see. Oh, and TAS Cartoon says, "Give me liberty or give me death. These are words our founders wanted this country to live for, to stand by. Why does the left want to take the majority of our liberty? Guns et al. Only 200 character." Okay. Give me liberty or give me death. That's Patrick Henry, right? When you say Patrick Henry, Caesar had his Brutus, Charles I his Cromwell, and George III should profit by their example. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Isn't that the whole quote from Patrick Henry about opposing tyranny? And I don't necessarily disagree with that sentiment, but why does the left want to take the majority of our liberty? Guns et al. Well, I'm not sure what other than guns. I think that the right to bear arms, even though it's in the Second Amendment, isn't really that important for a civil society of ordered liberty, or whatever it is that the Supreme Court uses to. There are several different definitions the Supreme Court's used to define what's a fundamental right, and I've never really believed that owning guns is that necessary. I don't think it really protects us against tyranny, especially in the modern age. I've made a video about that. It's called Take My Freedom, Not My Gun, or something like that. And I've also made a more recent video called Gun Control or God Control, where I discuss that. So I think that's more goes more in depth to answering that. But so I'm not sure. I think the right is usually more willing to take away liberties than the left is. I mean, the right likes gun rights more generally, but other than that, I think the left is more protective of civil liberties than the right. But so I'm not sorry about your 200 character limit there. But aren't you impressed? I knew more of the Patrick Henry quote. Paul Cassell says, "Do you think Obama will pardon Chelsea Manning as a lame duck, or possibly earlier?" No. I suppose a commutation might be possible. Commutations where you shorten the sentence. But even that, as NO8549 replied there, Obama hates leakers. I mean, given how nasty Obama... I mean, maybe for his legacy or something. I that's the first I've even heard anyone suggest that, so I haven't really thought that through. But if he were to do it, it would have to be in the final days, and somehow I don't really expect that. Did you hear that? That my dog barks in her sleep sometimes, and she's... I don't know if you can see her down there. Let me see, where's my... Before I sign off, you've got the... let me see. Can you see Sandy down there? Sandy! I woke her up. She was barking in her sleep. She's on the floor behind me, but... I guess you can't really see her there, but... That was a treat. You got to see Oh, thank you, Niels Boers from Denmark, Los Alamos, New Mexico. Okay, so I think I'm at about half an hour and I've kind of run out of comments. So I appreciate all of you joining me, who joined me for Liberal First Wednesday Live. I hope I answered enough questions here. Sorry about all the technical problems and being up in the game room. I think the Apple Store told me my MacBook is supposed to be fixed in 3 to 5 days, so that's going to be somewhere at the end of this week or beginning of next week. So this either by Sunday or the following Sunday, I should be back in the regular place. So thanks for joining me, and I guess I will. Wait, where's all my? I gotta find my control. I will see you all around. Let's see, everything's taking longer even to sign myself off here. But have a good rest of your week, and I will see you all around the internet.